I'm Michael Hutchison, the author of Speaking Mastery and Stop It, 7 Mistakes to Avoid When Starting Your Relationship Marketing Business. This is my 3rd book, and I'm honored and grateful that you're considering investing your time to check out my series titled Profiles in Persistence. I wrote this book series starting with Volume 1 for lots of reasons, and I wanted to share with you a few of those. So number 1, I wanted to tell a compelling human interest story. I wanted to tell my own story of living a life with tenacity and persistence. My story began when I graduated from high school and wasn't accepted into a single college. And at the age of 19, when I broke my back after falling 4 stories and being told that I would be paralyzed for the rest of my life, I think back to being in a German hospital and being awakened at 4 o'clock in the morning and given pain shots in my stomach. And I knew that that was not the life that I wanted. And so I recall praying to God and asking Him to help heal my body. In return, I would be a force for good. And I ended up playing 2 varsity sports in college and ended up teaching tennis professionally. And while I still have a lot of work to do in becoming that personal best version of myself, I feel like I'm on the right track. That hasn't always been the case. I wanted to tell you some of the stories of the highest paid professionals. I wanted to share with you the challenges and the obstacles that they had to overcome, especially when they were just getting started and having that feeling of overwhelm when they were just starting their business. I also wanted to provide you an emotional antidote. For those of you that think that you have problems, I want you to find out those that have really been met with unsurmountable obstacles. I wanted to give back. I wanted to give back to my charity of choice, Days for Girls. This charity tugged at my heartstrings. I've been involved with them for the past couple years. Days for Girls provides a huge service for young women and girls who don't have access to feminine hygiene products. They support women and girls around the world. If you have a daughter, could you imagine your daughter not being able to go to school or not being able to go to work because she was on her period? And because she didn't have access to disposable products, she was held back and she was oppressed. When I heard that story, it tore me up. I couldn't imagine that, and so I vowed to Celeste Mergens, who runs Days for Girls, that I would help make a measurable contribution and I'd help make a measurable difference. And so when you buy our book and share the copies with your team and those that you work with, know that you too make a difference. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I also want to help the men and women that are involved in the network marketing profession. I'm certainly partial and so admirable of the people in this business. And here's the reason why. More so than any other entrepreneurial groups, they are at the core, they're givers. Those are people that go against the grain and want to make a difference for the people that they work with. And I've been fortunate and grateful to be partial to those professionals for over 25 years. I'm here in San Diego and I helped build Tony Robbins' seminar company 25 years ago. And I've done all sorts of things. I've spoken around the world, but this is something that's really important to me. When I ran Tony's business back in the early 80s, there were 2 affiliate groups that kept us afloat in those early days. One was Remax Real Estate with my good friend John Assaraf, who owned Remax of Indiana, and again, the network marketing profession. And it's been my experience that network marketing leaders are entrepreneurial to the core, and like me, they often go against the grain. Now, I know you may be asking, what do I talk about with these 7 leaders that are featured? Well, we talk about a lot of things, but in particular, we talk about the skills that you'll need to develop. And we provide you a roadmap to start developing those skills. And we talk about business building strategies. So that there's no theory here. All of the featured leaders are 7- and 8-figure earners. And they share exactly what they say and what they do on a day-to-day basis to achieve the income and lifestyle that they enjoy. And these actionable strategies are all learnable, they're all doable, and most importantly, they're repeatable. And what's important is you can teach them to others, but you need to know what they are, how to develop them, and how to practice and get better. So this book, Profiles in Persistence, can help you to formalize the actionable strategies, the tips and nuggets, so that number 1, you know what you need to do to develop them. Number 2, you know what you need to teach them. And thirdly, you know what you need to replicate them. So you could fly all around the world to hear some of these strategies and inspirational stories, but you know what? You don't have to, because I've done all the work for you. The thing about this book is that it's an easy read. It's only 232 pages, and it's very logically laid out. We're going to be talking about the business building strategies of network marketing leaders. And when you pick up this book and when you read our book, I want you to not just read it, but I want you to go through it. I want you to understand it. I want you to underline it. I want you to highlight it. I want you to go back with a fresh mind on a regular basis and say, okay, let me go back and take a look at how this leader handled this situation, or how that leader handled that particular problem. And how does this leader find people to talk to about my business? And how am I going to prepare before a big presentation? And what am I going to do to promote the events that are scheduled in my area? Most importantly, there are different skill sets that you're going to draw from this book, and I want you to learn from these. I want you to master these. And again, these are skills that once you know that you can teach them, that's when your organization is really going to take off. And so lastly, I want to help the entire relationship and network marketing profession because it's filled with some of the greatest people in the world. And at this point in my life, there's nothing I would like better than to see these featured leaders' stories translated into every major language around the world and see people using our book, not just as a staple, but in their library for continuous learning. So normally this kind of information would cost you thousands of dollars in some other type of an information product or something like that. But our book is only $13.95, and I call it a lucky 13. So just know this, these leaders who get this book and share it with others, they're going to make the biggest difference. And you're getting the value of $13, I believe will be the best investment you've ever made. So the best feedback I've had from those that have read the book is, Hutch, I feel like I'm right there with you, right there in the conversation, and the discussion that you have is so genuine, it's so real, it feels so virtual. So what I'd like you to do is send me a note if you read the book. Tell me what was the best tip, the best message, the best strategy that you read. Would you do that for me? And I look forward to hearing from you and possibly meeting you personally one day soon. Thank you, keep making things happen, and God bless.